All right, gentlemen, let's work. Welcome. It's Monday, June 2nd, 9:32 p.m. local time here in Redacted. Let's get to editing. Let's edit. Let's freaking do this. If you find folks recall, I believe we ended the last stream plugging in Le Darksaber's speech. Adjustments have been made in the meantime. Everything is now purplified, and it looks freaking gorgeous, courtesy of the one and only Darth Goob. Look at how cool this looks. The whole thing is purplified. All of Plaisir, from beginning to end, has all been purplified. So it's looking gorgeous. The other adjustment I had to make, it's a lot of work, kind of painful to do. I made the producer decision to switch the first half of the Darksaber speech from Mandoa to basic English. The reason was the subtitles were just, there was too much reading, and if you're a fast reader, you could hang with it. If you're not a fast reader, I had a couple test readers struggling with it. But more than that, when you're reading during this entire thing and looking down here at the words, try not to miss a word because this is like a big moment, you miss all of the facial reactions. And some of this is like impactful because I timed everything up for the different mentions. So like, she responds when Din says certain things. Like when he says Bo-Katan, you get that like look from her, like, oh, he's actually doing this. So it was taking away the impact of the scene by having it in Mandoa. So this is a really good transition point naturally. When he says that the saber should be gifted from one Mandalorian to another, he turns to face Bo-Katan, and now that he's kind of set the scene, the tone, the lore of why this Darksaber transition is about to happen, he turns to Bo-Katan, he starts speaking his native tongue, and it feels a little bit more intimate that way. And there's not nearly as much reading in this second half. You can see it's all single sentences and small phrases. And the whole thing just feels better like this.
Tion ibak alor Bo-Katan. Tion ibak alor Bo-Katan.
So I'm really happy with how everything turned out.
Mandalore was broken by the Empire, by Moff Gideon. He divided us, amplified the conflicts among the clans, and promised power to those who would wield it with no honor. We stand here not as adversaries, not as foreigners, but as Vodéan, bound by the soil of our homeworld and by the spirit of Mandalore the Preserver. Maul.
So you see that transition will happen about halfway through. Very smooth transition now between the Darksaber hum and the hum of the X-Wing engine. So I haven't 100% locked in the color grading for this. I was testing out a few different settings. I really like the one I have up here in the front of Blizzard. Look how freaking beautiful that looks. Holy smokes. That looks nice. Because now you've got the clouds reflecting a little bit of the purple. I'm happy with this, so I might use this as a baseline. That looks very unique. So, after we get through the Darksaber, I didn't make any changes to this. I thought this scene is fine as is. We then will transition from here boom. So then Din name drops Moff Gideon. You see the Mandalorians unite, so something else, the dark, must rise to meet the light in this case. We got to bring it back to our opposition, so the viewer still feels a sense of a threat. So we go right from there to, oh man, Carson Teva discovers Moff Gideon has escaped, and then we cut right from episode 5 to episode 7, and we go straight into this scene instead. Now, I had to make some large adjustments to this scene, and I'm super happy with them. Very, very, very happy by revoicing Kane and also flip-flopping some of the scenes around. So I took like lines from the end of the conversation, moved them up to the beginning, made some new lines for like Kane, redid the soundtrack, threw in some Coruscant ambient noise under everything. And we're gonna, I'll show you that, but we go right from that into Gideon walking back into the Shadow Council. Nothing's like reused. I've got a new line from Moff Gideon announcing his return and that they are transitioning their plan to the next phase. Everybody's like, dang, he's alive. And they all like give him these like kind of like fearful looks. You see him nod. He throws on his freaking Dark Trooper helmet. He storms out. Boom! And you see the Imperial armaments loading up. Boom! Straight back into Boba Fett. And this is what I'm going to start working on tonight. So we're going to revoice all of the aliens. I took out all their lines. Not his. I didn't take his all the way out yet. I had to remove Boba Fett's lines because he says so many ridiculous things in these conversations. Terrible things. And I haven't. I ended my own work trying to figure out what to transition to from this. Yeah.
Droid.
Presenting Doc's draft. Presenting Doc's.
I'm thinking about... Let's move this. So what I'm attempting to accomplish in this conversation is to revoice the aliens to set up the Hutt threat once more, because I need Boba to go back in town for the second confrontation with the twins. So I would like to just move this clip here, I believe, and then pull that back in.
Doc's draft. Leader of the Trandoshan family protectors of the city center and its business territories.
Yeah, that'll work good. 1,000 apologies.
Keep an eye on that one.
I keep an eye on everyone.
Presenting Doc's draft.
So I think that's a good character moment for Boba Fett, because this Aqualish here is very, you know, sucking up to him right now. So I want to show that, like, Boba's not impressed just because this guy offers him a bunch of money as tribute. So for him to say, keep an eye on that one, I think shows Boba's wisdom, which I want to present him very competent. So let's go back and show off how I changed the Elia Kane conversation. So if you recall from the show, in this section they are talking about the Mandalorian invasion of Navarro, and that the New Republic didn't help, but the Mandalorians did. And Moff Gideon's like so surprised by it. Now, I've recontextualized this whole thing and added a couple voice lines in so that instead of talking about Navarro, we are now talking about the events of Plaisir 15 that we just watched. If you remember, earlier in the film, here, I set up this guy as Moff Gideon's agent, and that there's like Imperial spies on this world who were tracking Bo-Katan and the Mandalorian movements. So now they'll be referencing the reports they got from their spies on that planet. They will inform Moff Gideon at this moment that Bo-Katan has received the Darksaber from Din Djarin, and their clans are now united, presenting a real threat, because, as we'll later find out if you've never seen this before, spoilers, Moff Gideon's already on Mandalore. This base he is in is on Mandalore. So I'm setting that up, that Moff Gideon is like preparing for the invasion now. He's been tipped off. He knows the Mandalorians are united and that they're going to come for him on Mandalore. So he's preparing the trap. So let's play this through right here.
Report. And make it quick, as I am short on time.
It wasn't the New Republic. Magistrate Cargo was aided by Mandalorians.
Which Mandalorians?
According to the reports received by our agents on Plaisir, Bo-Katan Kryze has possession of the Darksaber. She received it from Din Djarin and his covert.
This cannot be. Those two factions are sworn enemies.
Which is why I contacted you with haste.
Continue with your mission. I shall deal with It is time to begin Phase 2.
I've been
Shoot! I've been muted for how long? That one's on me. That one's totally on me. I hit the mute button on my keyboard. I gotta have one microphone glitch every stream, or it's not an AC Bagel stream. Well, that sucks. I was talking about so much there. I was just popping off about everything. It's like 5 minutes of me rambling about everything I was gonna do. What's up, Ty202? Thank you for letting me know. Thank you so much. I need like a software that gives me an alert if my mic stops for a certain amount of time. Glad you like the Moff Gideon changes. Very briefly to summarize the last 5 minutes Boba scene. This guy comes in. The Aqualish, like, sucks up to him, offers him money. Boba's suspicious of him. Then the Trandoshan comes into the throne room. He tells Boba about the Hutt threats, and that Boba really needs to be careful. The Hutts are out there patrolling the streets right now. People are starting to swear loyalty to them instead. That's going to prompt Mr. Boba Fett to go back into Mos Espa. This episode, he'll go right back into Mos Espa. We'll watch him walk down this hallway. He will then... Where's the Hutts? Yeah. So he'll walk down to that. The Hutts will come around the corner. We're not going to do Garza's really there. So we're going to just cut from that other scene of Boba walking to this one of them coming around the corner. And then Boba comes there like a land's meat type of thing. So Koi Shoya, thanks for joining. And then we'll redo the Hutt conversation to really, really put the pressure on Boba Fett. Then we'll, I was saying, then we've got this one Grogu scene to do, the decision type of scene. We got the Mandalorians arriving. I think I'm going to cut this scene in half. I think, like, before we go back to them. Because I need to go back to Boba Fett, is the thing. I'm torn. I don't think the pacing will work out as well if I do that. However, I really like the thematic back and forth to have Grogu deciding what to do and Boba Fett deciding what to do at the same time. I think that would be really cool. But I don't know how the timing of that is going to work. And I actually, now that I think about it, I might not want to... It's a good idea, but I do need a break for the travel from Navarro to Mandalore. So, like, once they leave Mandalore, or leave Navarro, look at this. Look how instantaneous this is. There's, like, no pacing in this section. They leave Navarro. They're like... Look at that. Look at that. You get a freaking insta-wipe. And then they're just there. I don't like insta-hyperspace travel. If somebody goes into hyperspace, you need to cut to another scene and give the travel room to breathe. Navarro and Mandalore are not close. Like, you are skipping days of content here. So we need to cut to something else, so this might be a natural point to cut back to Boba Fett. Unfortunately. As much as I would like to do that, Boba and Grogu back and forth for thematic purposes, I don't think that's going to work out. It'll be fine. It was a cool idea. That would be nice, but I don't have enough content really to do that. Yeah. So we're going to go this to the Hutt scene through here. Back to Grogu. Oh, here's what we'll do. Shoot, I didn't even think about that. Easy, because I've got an instant Din travel right here that I don't have. Yeah, that's too easy. Then I throw another Boba Fett right here. So we're still sitting on Grogu's question. Then we get Boba questioning his future. Then we get the reunion. then they jump back, and during the hyperspace travel, I'm throwing in the space whale scene from episode 1. It's a good scene. They come back to Navarro. They rejoin the Mandalorians. They get Grogu's little thing. Here's the other thing I'm pulling off. I don't think have I showed this yet? Look at this. Look at this craziness. Whoa, 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 whoa. Are you catching what I'm doing? This takes place on Navarro in the show. She gives this, like, kind of lame speech. They insta-travel to Mandalore. And then they land, and you get all these, like, native Mandalorian type of things. And then it goes really slow here. I didn't like that. I didn't like how slow it gets once they land on Mandalore. The build up to the final invasion needs to happen beforehand. So you've got this big dinner scene and the speech right before this. Mandalorians always do this before battle. They have like a giant feast and they'll spar, mess with each other. A couple people will get drunk, throw punches. Somebody loses a limb or two. They love doing these giant things right before a big moment. So we cut these two scenes together. Look how similar this looks. I mean, Navarro is this, a dark, rocky world at nighttime. Mandalore is this, a dark, rocky world at nighttime. There's like no one would just notice that. There's like no features in the background. This is just the volume in the back and the table there, so it looks very similar. So we play out all these like overnight camp scenes. You have the armorer who then leaves ahead of the rest of the party to scout it out. You get some good character development here, the morning of the flight. Then they all leave together that next day. And then once we get to Mandalore, it's just action from there on out. Look, I mean, we're like already at the fighting. In 5 minutes of Mandalore exploration instead of like 30 minutes of talking and everything. So I like that a lot better. Let me know if you agree or not. But I'm quite a big fan. And then I will be reviewing this entire battle sequence because it's quite nonsensical. I'm going to try and make something out of the final fight. So that's the plan. It's going to happen. We are a good 2 hours and 8 minutes into this film now. Thanks for hanging in there with me through... Yes, no unnecessary kaiju. That was like... They threw so much budget at that thing. That creature, like, the CGI was very good. It was so short. Like, they must have blown their whole CGI budget for those, like, 20 seconds it's in there. So random. Impacted nothing. If you're going to do that, why don't you have, a freaking mythosaur do that? It's just like, yeah, like you said, it's just a random kaiju just comes out of the ground. Like, knocks their ship over. They, like, jetpack away, and then they're in the base. And then there's nothing else about it. A complete waste of like 60 seconds of that should have been cut. That's like the easiest deleted scene of all time. But those episodes were already running so short. Like the last episode's like 35 minutes. I think they just were like, we need to pad time with anything. We got $2 million left over. Go hire some company. Make a freaking worm come out of the ground. I need a minute. So yeah, that's gonna be gone. They land. They know where to go. They go right into that cave type of area, and that's that. So time to subtitle. For we have an Aqualish speaking. Mandalore to Solus. here. Thankfully, they actually did the Aqualish noises for the show, so I don't have to grab that from a video game. Oh, I'm just looking at... That'll be fine, I think. But it's kind of silent. I was trying to see... because Boba says something stupid here.
Did you catch any of that?
Something about
So dumb. Make him look like
Did you catch any of that?
an absolute moron.
something about friendship.
We really need a protocol droid.
And then you've got your freaking droid... I hate that. Not nearly as bad as this. This is one of my worst lines in the Book of Boba Fett, which is saying a lot.
That's weird.
This.
Its business territories.
That's weird.
He says, that's weird, I used to work for him.
To work for him.
That's weird, I used to work for him? Does that sound like Boba Fett to anyone on Earth? Is there a single soul on this planet who has read or watched anything about Boba Fett who thinks he's like the king of Tatooine now, and then this guy walks in, the droid announces his name, and then he says, that's weird, I used to work for him. I hate that line. Actually, with a passion. There's few things I actively hate on this planet, and that line is one of them. It's gotta be in the top 50 worst things on planet Earth, to be honest. That's weird. Hate it. Alright, we're gonna write some Boba Fett some Aqualish suck-up lines here. I had some stuff drafted earlier. Let me try and find that. How many sentences? I can't remember how many I needed. So you've got like... I mean, I need about 20 seconds of dialogue. And then I might add another Aqualish sound here to kind of break up the silence that's there for so long. So that's probably what I'll do. So let's take this. Copy. I wonder how bad it will sound if I throw it in reverse, just so it sounds a little different. Yeah, it sounds wrong. It doesn't need to be long. Maybe just this. Yeah, just something like that will like a farewell noise. Just to break up that span of silence so there's something for us. Okay, well, let's get the subtitles I had for him. Okay, let's see. Heck. Where's my freaking subtitle? Oh my goodness, where did... What? That yank me over there. Oh, come on. Oh, what is happening? Why is it obsessed with over here? Why can't I edit my subtitle? What? What? Ah, what's going on? What is this? Why is it over there now? What? This caption thing's all messed up. Why is it only has one line out of like the hundreds I have in here? The heck is happening? Freaking Premiere strikes again. Okay, I think I can type from over here. Mighty Daimyo, may your reign be prosperous. There we go. Now my subtitles work. Accept these credits as a gesture of Aqualish loyalty. Okay, so he talks there. Let me adjust this a little bit. Actually, now I know I have more room to work with than I thought in my draft script. So let's go. Mighty Daimyo Fett. The Aquilish family of Mos Espa sends their regards. Can extend that for like this whole segment here, so you get time to read it. Accept. Let's go accept this humble offering as a token of our respect. And he starts jabbering again over here. It's funny because the show didn't even subtitle this. Like, there's literally nothing because they wanted to tell the joke that Boba Fett doesn't understand it. Like, what? I assumed that these helmets, like, assist in translation to some degree. They don't, or, like, people wear, like, translator earpieces in Star Wars, or in their teeth, even. There's some models. You are telling me Boba's sitting on his throne and just has no technology to help him understand? Like, that's not a thing in Star Wars. Craziness. Let's say, may it assure you of our allegiance. We seek only peace under your gracious rule. Under the gracious rule of your throne. I want this guy to be like kind of eye roll worthy, like, okay, you know, he's, for it to leave. What's like a departure phrase when you, like, leave a king or something? Like, my lord? Let's see how this plays. Need these to each go a little bit longer. Let's try that again. I might as well, like, keep this up the whole time. Yeah. That's what was jarring a little bit there. Extend that out just a little bit more. Okay, I need to trim the end of that. Goes on just a little too long over here. So maybe even take it to like there. Then pull this over. Get a nice audio transition into this other thing.
Keep an eye on that one.
I keep an eye on everyone.
Presenting Dox Drasi, leader of the Trandoshan family, protectors of the city center, and its business territories.
That's weird. I used to work for him. Who wants me to return that? Type 1 if you want me to put that line back in there. Type 2 if you want me to banish that line to the Shadow Realms. Delete it from the face of this planet. Orek, thank you for joining, my friend. Sukui Gar, Volde. Can't stay, but just passing by to remind you that your work is a masterpiece, and I'm so thankful for this project. Yeah, keep kicking ass, Batista. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, man. Can't wait to share this movie with you. Cannot wait. It's been a long time coming. Change it to awkward. What about cringe? That's pretty cringe. No, Boba Fett's gonna stay silent here. Executive decision has been made. So this work, I'm really happy with the Aqualish now. The only thing my only problem was Fennec is sitting in that one, and then she's standing there. I could just cut to this, I believe. It's either that or if I don't want to cut that for whatever reason, that's going to look probably wrong too. There's just no need for that. I can just cut right to this one of Boba. Bo ba bo ba bo ba bo bo ba ba bo. I like the audio of this one a little better, so I am going to extend this. Bo ba bo ba bo ba bo 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 ba bum 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 bum. Let's try this transition.
Keep an eye on that one.
Yeah.
I keep an eye on everyone.
Presenting Dogs Drasi.
So much better. Give me a little audio boost on the voice line. Presenting Doc Strassi, leader of the blah 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 and blah 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 of the blah blah blah.
1,000.
Okay, let me timestamp how much time I have for this. Yeah, like
1,000 tidings to the new daimyo.
Does Boba talk here? Yeah, I don't want this. I know I don't.
It's an honor to be welcomed to Mos Espa by you, Doc Strassi.
It's an honor to be welcomed by you. No. No. It's not. Especially with the conflict we just had with Trandoshans earlier. It's not a freaking honor. I don't have much time to present the Hutts here is the problem.
May you never leave, Mos Espa.
I need one voice line from Boba is the problem right here. I need him to say like suit up. We're heading to Mos Espa. And then we'll cut to Mos Espa. So I really only have 2 lines to get across some form of tribute and that the Hutts are in Mos Espa. Okay, let's try that then. Okay, let's get some subtitles over here. And then I need to find my Trandoshan lines. Trandoshan lines, I already got them exported and converted. Like a beast. So let's get a little bit of Star Wars lore. It's doing this glitch again. Would that be capitalized? Would Wookiee be capitalized here? I think so. I don't know. Getting what is this place called? What is the forest in Kashyyyk in in Knights of the Old Republic? What is that area called? It's like Shirabrook? It's not the Shadowlands. It's like the upper area. What? Isn't there something like Shirabrook Forest? What am I thinking of? Kachiro, that's the one from the Clone Wars, or not? Revenge of the Sith. Here, let me show you what I'm looking at. My Kashyyyk lore. What's the city in Knights of the Old Republic? Oh, I'm getting that wrong with their language. That's what I had in my head. Shiro, yeah, that's what I was saying. What's a good city then? What is it? This one's from Star Wars Galaxies. That could be fun. Kakowir Forest. That could be a fun one to reference. Oh, that's cool. It's in the Force Unleashed 2 novelization. I never played this. I had Star Wars Galaxies, but I never got that expansion. I never did this one either. I had Jump to Light Speed. Dude, when this came out, I was 10. So, no, I was young. I was like 9. So, you had to pay like $20 a month to play this game, and that was like everything I could scrap up. And I could only get it like a few months out of the year. but I was saving like crazy just to buy a Star Wars Galaxy subscription. Loved that game. Roaming around Tatooine. So cool. My mom just yelling at me for being on the computer too long after school. Good times. Wookiee has 2 E's. Yes, thank you. Isn't there? Yeah, there's like a whole... Wookiee. Yeah, Kakowir Forest would be cool. I gotta find this though. What is the one? Did they not name that city? Oh, that's from the Old Republic, which is not even in there. What the heck? I need to see like a map of that planet. You've got the Zerka landing port. What's the village called? The Great Walkway. Oh, yes, this is what I was thinking of. This is it. Frick. It's called Rawukaro Village. That's the one I was trying to find. And then down to the Shadowlands. So, what do? Do I do Kakowir Forest or Rawukaro Village? The village is like more brutal. So I'm kind of... I love the Galaxies reference. But this one is like... this is like a Trandoshan went into a village, killed a Wookiee, skinned it, all to pay tribute. Like, that's pretty Trandoshan. The forest kind of infers just like a Wookiee in the wild a little bit. It makes it a little more brutal when you actually identify the village. Kashyyyk has... How many freaking Y's does that have? 3? It's 3, right? Yeah. Kashyyyk. Okay, that'll go over here. Then I've had this voice line to replace it. I might need a longer one, actually. Let's try that. A little bit over there. It's a little bit too loud in this room, but throw some room echo on here. Take the volume down a bit. Nice. There's some downtime I can cut. I don't need all of this. Since I'm removing Boba Fett's line, let's get back to the action. Okay, then I need the line of the hut. So let's say my spies also spotted the huts. Patrolling in Mos Espa as we speak. like it better when I can get it on one line, but yeah, I can start it there. Okay. Probably want it longer. Even longer, I think. Let's get a long one. Is that better? I think longer. More. How's that? Room echo. Down. Let's see this now. Shoot, hold on. Yeah, let's throw those over there. A little sound transition help. Okay, let's shorten this a little bit. What's a good like time here? Spies also reported that the Hutts are patrolling Mos Espa. So I hear Boba Fett will say, like, suit up. We're heading to Mos Espa. Then we get the Hutts. Round 2. Okay, I need... So, I want to reverse this, I think. Yeah, so we like take place in a spot we haven't really been before. Of Mos Espa. I need to redo the soundtrack because the soundtrack of the regular scene, like when they're talking, doesn't really match the conversation. So I'm gonna delete all the background noise, and I've done it for the other Boba Fett scene. So I already have like Jabba's palace, ambient noise. I'll get a new soundtrack under there. Be a little more menacing. So let's take this. Good. Then I want to reverse this. So it should look like we're coming from the center of the city kind of to the outskirts. Heck yeah. Perfect. Love it. I love what I'm seeing. And I just need like a brief shot of Boba walking through town. But not with the wrong things in the background is the problem. So I can't have that assassin showing. It's not much to work with. I could take this part. Let's take this. If I just zoom in a little and pull the camera to the left, you won't see that guy. Because I like the reaction of the Trandoshans. It's like the Trandoshan spies that were just referenced in the previous scene. That's great. They know something's about to go down with the Hutts. Probably have to cut there so we don't get that assassin in the background. That would be really hard to mask out convincingly. You got a panning camera and walking. There, yeah, nice, nice. Now when Boba Fett turns his head to look, he's looking at more Trandoshans. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I don't think I can really use anything of that. I'd have to like literally crop off half the screen. It's worth trying, I guess. Yeah, because even if I masked him, I'm not going to be able to mimic Fennec's movements. Let's try using these two. This one I can definitely do. This will be easy. Yeah, you have 4K footage, you won't even notice a difference. Good. Yep, he's out of that one. Looks over, sees more Trandoshans. This is the hard one that I don't know if I can keep. And I don't necessarily need to keep this one either. But let's just see how it looks. I got a crap. I got a crap! A crap ton. This is going to be very tough to pull off. And it's unnecessary. I probably won't end up doing this. Because it's going to be like, why? It's a weird angle. Interesting. Let's try doing my own camera movements, see if that helps it at all. Oh, come on. Oh, that's gotta go like really fast. Start like over here basically. Ooh, it's getting kind of close actually. That doesn't look too bad at all. And it's blurry during preview. If I can get that movement just a little smoother to pull over a little faster. He might be out of it. Let's try this. Yeah, that's fine, because you just see a freaking sleeve and no one will ever. Then we got the huts roll up around the corner. And it's on. I might try doing a voice actor for a couple Boba lines to pull this off all the way. Which one do I want? What's this one? Bum 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 banana na 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 na. Look at that thing. I've never noticed this before. Interesting. I don't know what species that is. It's like a freaking goblin. Oh, it moves. Yeah, we'll go right from the huts coming around the corner. Because that gives Boba Fett like time to turn the corner himself and walk to be in like this type of position. He just turned the corner with his squad. Fennec hangs in the back.
You really think so?
Might be able to make something of that transition later. It's a pretty good one. Okay, bring her over. Oh shoot! I don't have enough space. Just maul Grogu. For the sake of Boba Fett. I'll color grade these. I think it's like slightly different times a day. Here it looks a little more like dusk compared to the initial walk, which that's already pretty close actually. But I'll color grade it to match even better. I'll do that soundtrack transition later.
Yes, motherfucker, Didi.
Thinking of what so in my other scene with Boba, I used this voice line actually, the Huttese that he says, because it's helpful that you can kind of just make it say whatever you want. But I used that exact same thing. How bad will it sound? I'll reverse it. Probably horrendous. Yeah, will anyone notice that he says the same thing, kinda, but then switches it? Gotta kind of review the dialogue here. I'm
I
good.
don't care what your tablet says. This is Mos Espa, and I am Daimyo here.
Good, okay. I can kind of keep this. I'll change that a little bit. I want them to be like a lot more condescending to Boba now. And I want him to insult them and say, like, take your slimy tails back to Hutta. And then he's gonna say, like, we just came from Hutta. The 5 families wish us to secure Mos Espa for the cartel. Then he goes,
I don't care what your tablet says. This is Mos Espa, and I am Daimyo here. I don't care what your tablet says. This is Mos Espa.
this is Mos Espa is like... if he said, like, this is Mos Espa, not Hutta, that would work, too. I wonder if I could get a voice actor to get that. I will, but not exactly baseline. Goob in the house. Everybody throw a quick goob party. You've come at the perfect time to write my scenes again, Goob. We're just getting into the Boba Fett's second confrontation with the Hutts, and I might need your wonderful Kiwi chords. I made probably the best boba model, voice model, that I've had so far, and it's still terrible. I don't know why none of the AI things can handle the New Zealand accent. What is going on? Where is this?
The path to success is lit.
Is this how I had it? No.
I am now in command, and
That's
I've
horrible.
grown quite fond of
Oh,
it.
my settings got destroyed.
I am now in command, and I've grown quite fond of it.
Why did my settings get so weird? It's not gonna do much
I'm
better.
now in command, and I've grown quite fond of it. I'm now
See, you can like hear the. I mean, that sounds nothing like Boba,
in command, and I've grown quite fond of it.
but it's actually better than any mod. I can't use it, but it's better than any model I've found.
I'm now in command, and I've grown quite fond of it.
That's not him at all.
I'm now in command, and I've grown quite fond of it. I'm now in command, and
The end of that last one wasn't.
I'm now in quite fond of it. I'm now in
You can
command.
see it occasionally can get like one word maybe, but it definitely can't do sentences.
I'm now in command, and I've grown quite fond of it. I'm now in command, and I've grown quite fond of it.
See, I mean, it's nothing like Boba. You have to run a Boba impression through the voice-to-voice to get it good? Oh, boy. If I could get Goob on here doing voice-to-voice, that actually might work. I don't think I can do that. I honestly might give him my login. Let's see how bad this does. Back to Hata. Oh, it doesn't even know what to do with it.
Back to Hata.
I mean, it doesn't sound like Boba.
Back to Hata. Back to Hata. Hata.
I mean, you get the tiniest bit of the accent, but it doesn't sound like Boba. It sounds like Jason Wynn. Yeah, honestly, it does sound more like the Boba from the video games. Tamora's voice is so unique. Like, there weren't even voice actors that could replicate it very well, especially like when Boba was bigger in the games in like the 90s and 2000s when voice acting for like animation and games like wasn't as prestigious as it is today. There's been a lot of development for that career in terms of skill, honestly. You had some great voice actors back then, but just like the expectations for the cinema of a game were so different. If I send you what I trained the model on, I don't think I have. I haven't. That might be on a different. Might be on my laptop.
Back to Hata.
I just want to see if that would do anything. If I throw like a voice box filter on it. Ciepok moga cicik.
Back to Hutta.
Yeah, it does sound like Jason Wingreen Boba, actually. That's funny.
Back to Hutta.
It's too much filter on there, but...
Back to Hutta.
The line was, take your slimy tails back to Hutta. Shoya's throwing in a submission.
Back to Hutta.
That's not bad. How did you get that? That's better than anything I've ever generated.
Back to Hutta. Back to Hutta.
Could you do that, take your slimy tails back to Hutta? I'm gonna need like 2 or 3 Boba lines to pull this off. If anybody in the chat wants to try, here's a few I need. I'm gonna post them in the chat. Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa. German boba is what that sounds like. Dahada, and then I had one later in the conversation, but I haven't got the wording out. It's when Chrysanthemum betrays him and switches sides. Where is it? Right here, I want Boba to... I think he says, like, you can bring as many gladiators as you wish. No, this needs to be so much more personal now. Like, I want him to, like, hardcore insult Wookiees right here, and Chrysanthemum specifically. So I need something, like, stinging against Chrysanthemum that, like, pisses him off. Something just cruel. I'm not saying this in, like, a bad way, but, like, a little bit of a racial slur towards a Wookiee. You know, like walking carpet type of thing. I don't know if that's something Boba would specifically say, but something like that. Alright, let's start getting some of these new lines in here. Because I had the beginning decently worked out. Goob, just so you, if you're around, just so you have a little context. We transition from the Moff Gideon scenes. Go here. These guys are bringing Boba tribute. The Aqualish kind of suck up to him. Then we cut to the Trandoshan. Brings him a Wookiee pelt. Then mentions that the Hutts are patrolling Mos Espa right now. Boba Fett then says, suit up, we're heading to Mos Espa. And then they walk right into Mos Espa. Squadding up. Turns the corner. Hutts turn the corner, and you get this type of lance meat thing. And unfortunately, I gotta zoom in on this because they put that subtitle so freaking high in this scene. The subtitle, like, what is this? How many spaces did... Why? That's such an odd technique. Just to throw in a bunch of spaces. I don't really get that. What the heck? frozen. Come on! Son of a gun. Send your Wookiee back to the slave trade where he belongs. Oh, dang. Shoot! Shoot! Would Boba say that? I wouldn't totally put it past. Like, Boba's like hot right now. He's mad. What does he say after that though? Because you get a gap, and then he says,
These are not the death pits of Dur, and I am not a sleeping Trandoshan guard.
"But these are not the despots of Dur, and I am not a sleeping Trandoshan guard." I actually don't know that reference. These are not the despots of Dur? Is that what he says?
These are not the death pits of Dur, and I am...
Oh, death pits. Yeah. Those are, okay, the death pits of Dur. Is that even a thing? That's not what I'm thinking of. Something else from a comic. I'm gonna look this up, actually. Boba Fett insults Wookiee bounty hunter Black Chrysanthemum Anton by making a Trandoshan reference that has a deeper meaning. Confirm the dark history of the Trandoshans and the Wookiees share. Okay, a bunch of filler here. These are not the death pits of Dur. I am not a sleeping Trandoshan god. The line is in reference to Black Chrysanthemum's past as a gladiator. Okay. And a little Trandoshan jab on there, too. I don't think that's actually from, like, anything in Legends. Dr. Aphra Annual #1 comic. In the fighting ring, okay. So that must be, like, where Chrysanthemum fought as a slave gladiator before he became a free bounty hunter. The death pits of Dur. So that stings pretty good. So if he says, but now I need something that kind of connects to that. I like where you're going with the slave trade thing. Don't clip me saying that. But it needs to connect to "These are not the death pits of Dur, and I'm not a sleeping Trandoshan guard." This is referring to, I guess, Chrysanthemum escaped the death pits by ambushing a sleeping Trandoshan guard. That's what I get from that. Alright, couple tries for some Boba lines.
Take your slimy tails back to... Take your slimy tails back to Hutta. Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
Okay.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutta.
Okay, throw that through the voice changer in here. I wonder how, like, a translation to translation would go. Is that the one I wanted? My model's not good, so...
Back to Hutta. Back to Hutta.
What? Oh, yeah.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutta.
That's not too bad. Google probably think it's the worst thing ever. My Americanized ears, I just hear, like, all accents are the same to me.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutta.
Let's try a little variation in there.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutta. Take your slimy tails back to Hutta.
Oh, we get some weird feedback in there. These all kind of sound the same.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
Let's try one of them, just see how it sounds with the voice modulation.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
That was actually the best one I think I've heard so far.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
Let's try throwing that one in there too. See how that one does.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
Which one of those is better, Goob?
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
Let's try 'em. Let's throw some voice modulation. Yeah, I'm using Shoya's model and then running it through my model. He generated, that's his 11 Labs model. Get Shoya's model on top of your accent. Yeah, that could work too. We're actually getting close to replicating Boba Fett, which is it's cool. I've never been able to do that.
Take your slimy.
So let's get some helmet modulation. I think I need to like take the pitch down a little bit too.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
We're getting closer than we've ever gotten. This actually might be possible to pull off a Boba Fett model in these modern times.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
I don't think it's that modulated in the show. Let's make it a little deeper.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
It's getting close. Let me send these to Goob, actually, now that you said that. Or, Goob, send these.
Take your...
Let's try the raw. Shoya, if you're there, try running these two through it. Sending them to you on Discord. Okay, well, we'll use this as a placeholder for now and try to improve it later. Let me throw a marker up on here. But that's what I wanted to say. Okay, so then this I was trying to... Good, so now that's out of the way. Boba Fett.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
Okay, let's get some subtitles. Boba Fett. What the? Where'd my subtitle go?
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter. Take your slimy tails back to Hutter. Take your slimy tails back to Hutter. Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
So loud. Why is this so loud? Let's try the same settings on this one and run a comparison. Okay, this is the one from Shoya's model.
Take your slimy tails back.
What?
Back to Hutter.
Okay, hold on. This stupid copy and paste. That thing never works for some reason on the sound settings. I don't understand why. Try that again.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
The Espar Gideon.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
The Espar Gideon.
Okay, we'll leave those in as a placeholder for now and fix them later. So let's get the Hotline subtitles in here. Boba Fett.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter. Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
Okay, deliver those to the Shoya. Suit up. Seat on mine.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
No, that's nothing like it.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa. Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa. Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
We're getting a lot of variation on this one.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa. Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
That one wasn't too bad. I like getting huge variation, because then you can get lucky and just nail it.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
That one wasn't terrible either.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
Some of those aren't the worst I've ever heard.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa. Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
Those are pretty good too.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa. Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
One of those might work too. What's this? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. I don't have the audio there yet.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
A little more helmet modulation on that. Get some pitch down. The one from Troy is so close. Nice, nice.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
It makes it so loud. And I need some room echo in here too.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
Let's try that. I don't have the soundtrack plugged in yet.
Suit up. We're going to Mos Espa.
I mean, that one's believable, actually, I think. Like, space out the words.
Suit up.
Let's try that a little bit.
We're going to Mos Espa.
That, I mean, that's pretty close. I never thought we'd get a model that even that good. Okay, so we got Boba Fett. It's good to see you again. Take your slimy tails back to Hata.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutta.
It's still so loud.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutta.
The Espar Kajitik.
The Espar Kajitik. Dun, dun. Good. Subtitles gone. New subtitles. Some say superior subtitles incoming. Ooh, babu, 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 boo, boo, babu. Mos Espa from Shoya will actually work as is. Think it's loud. There's two yeah. I almost thought the two sounded good together, though. The mix kind of...
Take your slimy tails back to Hutta.
The Espar.
I don't know, I thought... Am I crazy for thinking that kind of works like that?
Take your slimy tails back to Hutta.
The Espar Kajitik.
So then, he's gonna go... We just came from Hutta. The 5 families gave us rights to Mos Espa. send you Shoya's one. You'll mix something together. Fix that one with EQ filtering. Okay, okay. I will send you all that Shoya has gifted me. Which one did I use? What's this called? T3031127. Do that one and T30758. That one? I think those are the two right ones. From Shoya.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
Okay.
Boba Fett. La Punijasa Karato.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
Oh. That's why I was like, what's that other subtitle that keeps coming up? That's the Disney subtitle.
Take your slimy tails back to Hutter.
The Espar Kajidik Dujaba. Ankapes Chiji.
I don't care what your tablet says. This is Mos Espa, and I am Daimyo here.
I need to remove him saying this is Mos Espa. Need to adjust these subtitles a little bit here. See if this works better. Just because his voice lines were longer in the beginning.
The Espar Kajidik Dujaba. Ankapes Chiji.
I don't care what your tablet says. And I am Daimyo here. I am Daimyo here.
Let's try that.
I don't care what your tablet says. I am Daimyo here.
Pretty good, pretty good. I like that. Come here. Give me the cut. Move that slightly over there, and then move that slightly over there. I think that'll work. The curse of reading the subtitles when knowing Huttese. How much Huttese do you actually know? Is that language as developed as, like, Mando?
I don't care what your tablet says. I am Daimyo here.
So she goes, oh. I'm not as much of a fan of that. Is that so? So we're going to go... Daimyo. much as Mando, you
I am
recognize some words.
Daimyo here.
Gosh dang it. I forgot to zoom in. Overlapping subtitles. Let's get this chrysanthemum scene in here. Probably gonna wrap this up in maybe 5-10 minutes. I'm not gonna get through this whole hut scene. Done a decent amount already. How long? I'm 2 hours in. Got some good work done tonight though. The next one's gonna be fun. Finishing that out. Okay, I need the settings of this. This.
These are not the deathbeds of Dur, and I am not a sleeping Trandoshan god. This territory is mine. Go back to Nalhata.
It's so weird that they didn't subtitle that. They just... I don't know. Do you recognize this, Shoya? What? Do you catch anything in this?
Dako sama siso. Mima usta moda. Daimindia kilia uba.
Your cousin Jabbar is dead. His cowardly Majordomo usurped his territory, and then I killed him. All that is his belongs to me now. Your sister is right. If you want it, you'll have to kill me for it.
I'm just watching this to review. Kind of brainstorm the direction I want to go. I want to get this chrysanthemum installed in here before I stop the stream tonight. So the big picture of what I'm planning for this is Boba stuff can mostly remain the same there. Same thing. I'll change the wording, but how the sister wants to kill Boba right now. I'm going to have the brother say, I hate how he freaking touches her like that. It's so weird. He's doing that in the other scene too. He's like stroking her tail and stuff. Good use of the Nikto here too. I'm glad they did that. Classic slave species. So then the brother is gonna be like, we'll give you 3 days to come to your senses. Now the Hutts are scheming because they are going to send Chrysanthemum to kill Boba in this, like, you know, peace agreement time. So they're kind of going to break that, and that's what leads Boba to just like, man, do I really want to deal with this right now? Or do I need to go to Mandalore? So that's where that's going. Let's get this racially charged Wookiee insult in here. Classics. Classic slate. Combine that with what I said earlier, and my YouTube channel will get deleted. I don't like how he's looking at us. Have the Wookiee kill him. Interesting. Thank you for that. Oh, a whole Hut dictionary website. Nice. Hutters. Oh, they got a lot here. Yeah, this is pretty extensive. Oh, they got Ewok language? Heck yeah. Chuck. Be Dodo. Nov. Nigata. Dang, they got a lot of Ewokese. Basic? Why do you need basic? Oh, these are just like phrases. Mudfoot. This is cool. Nice. I like this. The dock times. 113 more words to come. A win. When are they coming? When was this website last updated? Are they actually coming, or are they teasing me? Kitster last referred to something being wizard on what? This is such a fun website. I love this. Heck yeah, they got all the species in here. Bocce, Aqualish, some Gunganese. Oh, Marlo. Cool, cool. Love it. AC Bagels racist video expose coming soon. Mandalorian not basic. It means idiot, not jerk. Oh man. Oh yeah. Tell him, Shoya. Tell him. Email that guy right now and let him know. Use that site a fair bit for the subtitle for Eddie Dean's Clone Wars. Cool. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. I need a Star Wars. I'm clarifying. Star Wars racially charged insult against Chrysanthemum here to fill in before. But these are not the death pits of Duh, and I am not a sleeping Trandoshan god. So, we need to be kind of like insulting Chrysanthemum's past still with this. So... How do I tie that in? Summer from Warmos is great. You like my April Fool's Lattice lessons videos on my Mando lesson channel? Okay, cool. That site was beautiful, man. That was like such a throwback. I love that they kept that looking OG, like early 2000s internet. That's awesome. I used to go on so many sites like that as a kid. Just read stuff. Let's see. Let me do some research on the death pits of Dur. Okay. I am not a sleeping Trandoshan god. Okay. We're gonna get this. We're gonna get something harsh. What about something like what about looks like you're still just a savage beast on a chain, Chrysanthemum. But these are not the death pits of Dur, and I am not a sleeping Trandoshan guard. Does that work? Looks like you're still just a savage beast on a chain, Chrysanthemum, but these are not the death pits of Dur, and I am not a sleeping Trandoshan guard. What do you think of that? Chrysanthemum. Good luck getting... let me post that in the chat. I would just need the first half because I can leave Boba's line here, maybe, if we can get it to line up close enough. Cut the looks like, just go, you know, still just a savage beast on a chain, Chrysanthemum. But these are not the death pits of Dur, and I am not a sleeping Trandoshan guard, and that makes him growl. That kind of works, and that doesn't seem like... Boba isn't gonna say something like goofy like walking carpet, which is like the classic one. Calling him a savage beast is kind of in character for Boba. I know it's not like as racially charged as I was hinting at earlier. But Boba's more angry at Chrysanthemum, not like Wookiees in general. He doesn't have any prejudice against Wookiees. I wanted to deliver something that would really get under his skin, his fur. And I think that kind of does it, referring back to his slavery. That's pretty harsh, too. So then you get the growl. That would be good. If you guys want to, over the next day or two, see if you can generate that line for me. So this is going to be a 5-minute scene. Then we're going to go back to Grogu. Back to the Mandalorians. They land on Navarro. Din then leaves to go to Yavin, and in the meantime, so that'll be like another, that's a good 6-7 minute scene between those two, so that's a good transition back to another 5-6 minutes for Boba Fett. Then we get the reunion scene. They fly back, we get the space whale scene, they get back to Navarro. Didn't I say I wanted something here, though, in this gap, this travel? Oh, that's not it, that's not the right spot. The travel to Mandalore, yeah. I want to save something here. So I've got a good plan for the Boba scene when he comes to Mandalore. Some of it's going to be reused footage from the end of season 2, because that's like the only time we see Boba Fett in his new armor piloting Slave One and destroying Imperial ships. So I'm going to try and just like use a couple clips from that. And then there's some like good generic stuff on YouTube of just people making like the Slave One exiting hyperspace. So I can just like move this Mandalore planet and have like the Slave One just mask that jumping in. That kind of thing. So that's how I'm going to integrate Boba's arrival. He is only going to stay in space until the final ceremony. I'll have a clip. I can like mask and place him somewhere in the crowd, so we will see him here, and we'll do like through this we'll do like a close up of him somewhere. Yeah, he'll be there, but he'll just stay in space. I'm not gonna like try and I can't animate him fighting on the ground or anything, so I can only work with what we got. But he'll come from space and save the day. I've already reorganized like all of the space combat scenes to prepare for it, and it's gonna work. It is definitely going to work. So then I've got a cool clip actually, like right before Boba. Oh heck yeah. Love it. Sorry, looking at Wookiees, Rebels, and More. He filmed his Kyle Katarn scenes for his sequel trilogy edits. That's a great costume. He casted an actual Kyle and like an older Kyle Katarn. Very cool. Where is this? I think it's this one. You've got like a brief clip of Boba's empty throne. So I'm gonna like throw that in before the hyperspace, before Boba arrives, so that's like we see his decision by his empty throne. So I was thinking, I'm wondering if I want to like totally leave it as a surprise, or if I even like as they leave Navarro, then cut to the empty throne, so you kind of know, oh, Boba Fett decided to go. But there's like enough mystery too, or is he out fighting the Hutts? I don't know if that's it. I'm gonna throw that in somewhere. I don't know where though. So we'll keep Boba Fett engaged as an actual character rather than just getting written out of the show. You're still a chained Manong, Chrysanta? I don't know what Manong means. What is that? A Manong is a hairy creature? While pretending to be involved in slavery. Oh, you know this as a Rebels master, huh? Once compared a Wookiee to an oversized Manong. While training a group of cadets, refer to them as flea-bitten Manongs. Okay, these are like Rebels references. Interesting. I love referring to other things, but I don't think anyone else in the world will understand what that is. We can try it if you guys want to generate different lines for that. We'll see how they work. Let's wrap up these chats. Rogue Leader from OT, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. Good to see you. What about something like you're still a fighting dog hound on a leash? Something still insulting, a little less wordy. You're still just a... Yeah. Yeah, we're on a chained Manong, a savage beast on a chain. Something like that for sure. Hopping on and off your streams, doing great work. Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate that. Can't wait to share this with you. We're getting close. Guys, I'm was it just turned June? I still have a lot of work to do on this. I mean, this is a long movie. Like my other movies, the other films I made, they would be like ending now at the 2-hour mark. I mean, I have one that's like 2 hours, 1 minute, and I have another hour of movie to go through. Now you can see I've already done so much of it, but these final reviews is where I do the hard work, really. So I mean, I'm basically making almost 2 movies in this one, so this one's taking longer, but my goal is definitely to have it this summer. I am working super hard on this to get this thing released. I will not be satisfied with my life until this is out. Might need an establishing shot too, just the throne would be jarring and too short. Yeah, if it's just like a 5-second thing out of nowhere. I could get like a pan down from Tatooine, zooming into the throne room or something. There's a really good one at the start of Boba Episode 2. It's when they like bring the slave guy. It's like a cold open kind of thing, I think. Just before the title. I've never used it in my series yet. Yeah. You can do like this one. And I could easily just mask that. Because that's Fennec walking up. That wouldn't really make sense, but I could... You know, something like... And then I can manually keep the zoom focused like on the door rather than panning down to Fennec. Cut that, and then I could like get to the throne, but it'll be like an empty throne. So something like that. I'll combine a couple things so it's not just like a random 5-second clip out of nowhere. And I'm gonna rescore the flight to Mandalore. It's so generic. We need some classic Mandalorian music here. Like, listen to this. You get the Bo-Katan one, which I do like this track. It's a great piece. But this is the same exact thing they did for the Darksaber. Like those things. This is the same exact song. I love it. But surely there's something a little more Mandalorian in general. This isn't the Bo-Katan show at this point. This is like a big moment for the entire Mandalorian clans. I get Bo is the Mandalore at this point, but I want something a little more cultural than only Bo's theme for like the 10th time. And then I'll have Din fly out separately from them, because he's with Grogu. Because I really like the scene where they're... And I like showing... This is from episode 2. I like showing Din and Grogu at this point kind of separated from the mass of the Mandalorians. Like, he's a Lone Ranger type of guy now. You know, he's a dad as well as a Mandalorian, but his life has changed. He's fulfilling his duty as a Mandalorian for sure, but also there's something else here that he's set apart from them. in a special role. So I love this scene where he's like teaching Grogu about the Mandalore system. I think that's beautiful. So that will be kept like on the flight to the final battle. So then they all land together. You see, yep, and then all that, and no kaiju. So that's going to be a wrap for tonight, I believe. I'm slowing down. The brain is... It's almost midnight here. I'm filming a commercial tomorrow. Got an actor from one of the show hosts of HGTV. Pretty cool. He's a really talented guy. Excited to film him tomorrow for some insulation commercials. So... Probably won't be able to edit, and I got something in the evening too with my church, so that's, yeah, probably not going to have any time to do anything tomorrow. I'll stream again maybe Wednesday, Thursday, sometime later this week. I'll try and get at least a draft of the rest of these hut lines. And then I need to review my dialogue with Luke Skywalker here, because I'm removing the whole "you must choose attachments" or Jedi training thing. That's not Grandmaster Luke. So I already started revoicing Luke. We'll do something fun with it. So thanks guys for all the ideas. That was wonderful. I'm super excited about the potential of these boba lines starting to work out. That's just always been a headache, not having anything like super consistent for that. So this is cool that we're actually making some progress on that. Thanks for everybody pitching in. Jetika. Good night. What's good night in Huttese? I gotta look it up. It's a perfect way to end the stream. Where the heck is that website you said? Yeah. Good. Oh, you've got a goodbye. Okay. So what? Good. Me. Juzku is goodbye. Is there just good? Me Juzku. Is there a word for night? Nope. I don't know how to say it. Me Juzku. That means goodbye at least. Alright. Thanks guys. I will catch you next time. Peace.